explain it to you.
Correct. That's why I don't do vacations without having somebody, write the itinerary for me and tell me you're supposed to be here on this day and there on that day and those kind of things. Yes, I like that. Vacationing for dummies.
Now, I'm in for all of that. Like that. Thank God for AI. All right, so you and I, we talked on Wednesday. On Wednesday night, we were hanging out on Fox Sports Radio from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. We let the midnight bells hit, and we talked a bunch of Thanksgiving food, right? But also, we talked about the games coming on Thursday and the consequence of the actions, right? So we now have, in a world where three teams that everybody wanted to buy into as absolute Super Bowl contenders, all three, the holy trinity of losses, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Lions, all three lose on Thanksgiving Day. So I know you were at Titans practice and then you were stuffing your face with all sorts of Thanksgiving food. But along that route, which of those three teams did you suddenly throw your hands up the most to and say, I'm out on this team?
It's got to be the Ravens, right? I mean, 6-6 now. Lamar looks just out of it.
Stinky.
I don't. Lamar Jackson is not stinky. All right, that's so disrespectful.
He just looks stinky. He just looks stinky this year.
He is displaying the behavior of a stinky quarterback, right?
He's displaying the behavior of a stinky quarterback. It's so
I just don't know how they fix it. The offense just looks out of place. And yeah, I mean, how many fumbles did they end up with? 5, I think. If you're Derrick Henry, you're losing your damn mind at a certain point because the ball security in that game. And Derrick's had some fumbles this season too. Let's make no mistake about it. But the Chiefs still have enough, I think. It was a close loss against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, to their credit, I don't think the Chiefs lost that game. I think the Cowboys went out there and won it. Now, you can't go 2 full quarters if you're Kansas City without scoring, which is what they did. They had 14 points in the first quarter. They had 14 points in the fourth quarter to at least make it appear closer than it actually was and to make Dallas sweat it out a little bit, right? But they got the job done. For Detroit and the Packers, this was as commanding a performance as I think Green Bay's had on offense all year long. And Detroit they're not a bad football team, right? They're 7-5, though, and they're fraught in a division where the Chicago Bears, I didn't even think, maybe you're just keeping it to the Thanksgiving Day games, because if you were talking about a holy trinity of losses, I would not have put the Lions in there. I would have put the Eagles in there, 24-15 against the Chicago Bears at home, no less, coming off that Cowboys implosion of a loss for Philadelphia. I'm sure the sports talk radio in Philly this week has to just be toxic, acid bath level stuff. Baltimore is the team that I would be most worried about, though, because if Lamar can't get the requisite help that he's not getting, and also he's going to play as not the best version of himself, then they have no chance. They can't survive in these games, and that's not a glowing endorsement of Pittsburgh either, right? They could end up 9-8 or 8-9 and potentially win this division, for as messy as it figures to get down the stretch. We'll see if Joe Burrow can't make life a little harder for them, because again, the Ravens and the Bengals have to play a second time in these next 6 games, I guess for them 5 games that there is remaining. But Baltimore's the one that would stress me out the most if I was a fan of that team.
Well, I think in part because of who they lost to. You make a really good point that Philadelphia, the sky is falling for the Eagles now. It's okay to admit right now, even defending Super Bowl champions, I'm the one that I feel like every week comes out and says they'll get it right. It's going to be fine. Then I just watched the Bears go out and control the line of scrimmage. They ran the football all over them. It was weird to me, Buck, to watch a team physically dominate the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's what the Bears did. So that's concerning. And certainly, to your point, the Lions' offense just doesn't have the rhythm it usually has. And Green Bay looked really good. But that's losing to Green Bay. I'm not going to fault you for losing to Green Bay. And, by the way, the Cowboys might be a hell of a lot better than anyone thought the Cowboys were going to be. And the Chiefs continue to have their issues trying to find any balance, yada, yada, yada. All these things. I can compartmentalize each of those losses to find the why. You lose to the Bengals, and it's not just that you lost to the Bengals. I'll even give you gave up 32 points to Joe Burrow. I'll even give you that. Man, Joe Burrow's tough to stop. Okay, great. We can go down that path. How'd you only score 14 points on that defense?
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem with the Ravens, is that the offense is broken if you watch it. The eye test is broken. And I know Orlovsky's done some really nice breakdowns on some of what is clear medically. It just looks like Lamar is not himself right now.
Yes, it is. Welcome into Warriors Live. Mark Randy with you live from Chase Center, presented by Xfinity. Your home court advantage brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that. Happy belated Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed some good family time, some good food over the last couple of days. Maybe you're still doing it today over the holiday weekend as well. We've got Warriors basketball back in action as Kevon Looney and the Pelicans are in town taking on the Warriors in a game the Warriors really need. The Warriors coming off of a loss last time out on Wednesday at home to the Rockets. The Rockets were without two key players in Kevin Durant and Steven Adams, yet they still won that basketball game 104-100. The Warriors are in the middle of their 5-game homestand, a part of the schedule that a lot of us have pointed to as the opportunity for the Warriors to get some home cooking going, yet they're 1-2 in their first 3 in this 5-game trip. New Orleans is one they should get tonight, even down Steph Curry. More on that in a sec, but today is a really important one because OKC is the 5th and final game of this homestand. That's coming up on Tuesday. You need a win today to ensure that you don't go 1-4 in this homestand because OKC, the defending champs, they've been even better this year than they were last year, and they've been without Jalen Williams. He just came back, other than some setback that would happen before Tuesday. OKC is going to be even healthier than they were when they ran you out of the building in OKC a handful of weeks ago. So we'll see how that game all plays out. That's for Tuesday, not for today. But again, I think what's coming up just enlightens how important tonight's game is, Warriors versus the Pelicans. Again, welcome in. It's Warriors Live. Mark Randy with you as the Dubs are 10-10. They're 8th in the Western Conference. They do welcome in, though, the Pelicans, who are 3-16, last, 15th in the Western Conference. And the Warriors, even without Stephen Curry, are big-time favorites in this game tonight. The Warriors favored by 9 points. I mentioned a couple of times no Steph Curry. Let's just get to our injury report so that you know the full list of the injuries today because it is a relatively long injury report for both teams. First for the Warriors, no Stephen Curry. He's out with a left quad contusion. I believe the word that we got from the Warriors was a right quad contusion. That was on Wednesday night, but I think they misspoke. It's a left quad contusion. Right-left doesn't make that much of a difference. Essentially, it's a really bad bruise on Steph Curry. They said that he's going to miss at least a week, which puts him out again today. It puts him out Tuesday versus OKC. We will see on the road trip, but he's not going to play the rest of this road trip or this homestand for sure. TBD, anything beyond that for Steph Curry. The Warriors, in his 4 games missed so far this season, are 1-3. They were 7-5 without him last year. They were pretty good. We'll see if they can regain some of that form beginning here today. No Steph Curry with that quad contusion. Al Horford remains out, dealing with right sciatic nerve irritation. The Warriors have said he's going to miss today's game, as we already know. We don't know yet about Tuesday. There's a chance that he could return on Tuesday. We'll wait for Steve Kerr and the Warriors to provide further updates on Al Horford. Kind of a surprise, a late scratch. This came down just about 10 minutes ago. Trayce Jackson-Davis dealing with right knee soreness. He is out. He will not play today. A late scratch for Trayce Jackson-Davis. Always a little concerning because he wasn't on the injury report at all. Not like he was probable or questionable. He was not even listed. listed. Trace Jackson-Davis is out tonight with right knee soreness. Meanwhile, Jonathan Kuminga, who's been dealing with bilateral knee patellar tendonitis, has missed the last 7 games. He is available. Jonathan Kuminga will return for the Warriors today. The last game that he played was that first game of consecutive games versus the Spurs in San Antonio. Remember, that was the game where Steph scored 46. The Warriors won by 5. The next game, Curry scored 49 and led the Warriors to a win by 1 point to take both those games in San Antonio. Kuminga was listed with that bilateral knee patellar tendonitis. It was something that was listed at that point, but he played in the game. He went into that game questionable. He played. He was then ruled out at halftime, has not played since. Missed the win in San Antonio, that second one. Missed the win in New Orleans. Missed the losses in Orlando, in Miami, home to Portland. Missed the win versus Utah from Monday, and then most recently missed the game on Wednesday versus the Houston Rockets. 7 missed games. In the games that Kuminga missed, if we don't include that first San Antonio game where he played in the first half, the Warriors are 3-4 without Kuminga in these 7 games, but he is returning to the floor tonight for the Warriors. Also back after spraining his ankle slightly on Wednesday is Gary Payton II. GP2 is available, and he will play for the Warriors as well. Meanwhile, DeAnthony Melton remains out. However, the Warriors did put out an update today. The last update came 10 days ago. They said another update coming in about 10 days for Melton. That update came out today about an hour ago or so. DeAnthony Melton not going to play today. We know that. Not going to play on Tuesday. But the Warriors did say there is a possibility that he returns during their upcoming 3-game road trip. That road trip is in Philadelphia on Thursday. So this coming Thursday, in Cleveland a week from today, and in Chicago next Sunday. So that back-to-back is in Cleveland and in Chicago. There is a chance that Melton makes his season debut at some point on that trip. In Philly on Thursday, in Cleveland Saturday, in Chicago on Sunday. We shall see. But Melton is nearing his return, which is definitely good news for the Warriors. So that is the injury report from the Warriors side. No Steph Curry, no Al Horford, no Trace Jackson-Davis, no DeAnthony Melton, but Kuminga is back, and GP2, who left the game in the first half on Wednesday, he is available and he will play as well. Meanwhile, for the Pelicans, they also have a lot of players that are out. Jordan Poole is out. Herbert Jones is out. Jordan Hawkins is out. Carlo Matkovic is out. DeJounte Murray is out. And Trey Murphy has been dealing with some as well. He has right elbow soreness. Let me get the latest official word and report back to you on that one about Trey Murphy. He is still technically listed as questionable. Trey Murphy is dealing with right elbow soreness. He has not missed a game yet this season. If I were to guess, I would guess that he's going to play. I don't yet know that for sure, though. Trey Murphy III is questionable, but DeJounte Murray still recovering from that Achilles injury that he suffered early last season. Carlo Matkovic has missed the last 5 games. He's still out with a right calf strain. Jordan Hawkins is sick. He is out. Herbert Jones dealing with a right calf strain, one of the best defenders in this league when he is healthy, one of the best perimeter defenders, that is. A right calf strain, he remains out. He's missed the last 3 games. And Jordan Poole, former Warrior, is still dealing with a nagging left quad strain. He is out. He's missed the last 12 games, including the last time the Warriors were in New Orleans a couple of weeks ago. That win, 124-106. The Warriors in that one, that was right after the San Antonio consecutive wins and right before they lost both games in Florida. That was the game where Moses Moody scored 32 points, hit a new career high 8 threes, 7 of them in the first quarter. That was the game in New Orleans. Jordan Poole also did not play in that game, and he is still out as he still continues to recover from that left quad strain. So no Jordan Poole, no Herbert Jones, no Jordan Hawkins, no Carlo Matkovic, no DeJounte Murray. Trey Murphy III is questionable. That's the injuries for the Pelicans. It is a pretty heavy injury report for both teams coming into this game tonight. That is always our injury report, brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. For more information, visit boxerlaw.com. Okay. This is Warriors Live, presented by Xfinity, your home court advantage, brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that. If you're wondering, well, with all those players out for the Pelicans, who do the Warriors need to look out for in this one? Well, Zion is available, and he's going to play. Whenever he plays, he has been very, very good in his NBA career. The issue, of course, is he just simply does not play all that often. He's playing today, averages about 22 points per game in 9 games played so far this season. If Trey Murphy is available, he's questionable. He averages about 20 points per game. Is one of the best deep three-point shooters in basketball, even if the percentages might not show that at this stage of the season. He's a hell of a shooter as well. And look out for a couple of their rookies. Derek Queen, the young big man from Maryland, he was a 13th overall pick in this most recent NBA draft, and Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma, 7th overall pick in this most recent draft. Jeremiah Fears, a rookie, averaging 15 points per game. Derek Queen averaging over 12 points per game. And Derek Queen is a really fun watch because he's a skilled big. He's not your prototypical 7-footer. He's not 7 foot. He has a kind of a similar body to Draymond Green. He's smaller, but he's long, and he's pretty athletic for his position. And he's a hell of a passer. He can dribble a bit. He can push the ball himself. He's kind of a really well-rounded basketball player. Watch out for those guys. You know about Jose Alvarado coming off of the bench. He's their energy guy off the bench. A couple of other young players, Yves Misi, their second-year center. He's had a good start to his career as well. So, no Jordan Poole, no Herbert Jones, no Jordan Hawkins. Watch out for Zion, of course. Watch out for Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. Look out for Jose Alvarado. Those are going to be some of the main contributors tonight for the New Orleans Pelicans against the Warriors, who, again, will be without Steph Curry. And as we take a look at the Warriors this season and how they're going to go about things without Steph Curry, this season the Warriors with Steph are 9-7. Without Steph, they're 1-3. When Steph plays, they average about 17 points per game. When he doesn't play, they average about 107. That's a difference of about 10 points, Steph on versus Steph off. As a team, when Steph plays, the Warriors shoot about 46% from the field. When he doesn't, they shoot about 41% from the field. What about three-point line? When he plays, about 38% from deep. When he doesn't, about 30% from deep. Major drop-off there. Their rebounds go up when Steph doesn't play. Their assists go down. Their steals go down. Their blocks go up. Their turnovers go down just slightly. 16.7 turnovers per game when Steph plays, 16 when he does not. But for the most part, everything the Warriors do on offense gets hurt when Steph Curry sits. And it makes sense. Because Steph is the sun in the Warriors' offense. Everything revolves around him. So the question becomes, all right, how do the Warriors adjust offensively? That is something Steve Kerr was asked about pregame. I want to read a couple things to you here because it's I think going to be the main topic of conversation leading into this game, and then also what we're going to talk about post-game on Warriors Wrap-Up. First of all, though, I want to remind you this is Warriors Live, presented by Xfinity, your home court advantage, brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that. All right, so Steve Kerr speaking pregame about life without Steph Curry. He said, quote, "It's a good opportunity for us to forge an identity," talking about being without Steph. He continued, quote, "We got to play fast. We got to get stops. We got to play off our defense. Got to get some easy points in there, whether it's through transition, slips to the rim. With Steph out, you're almost forced to give other guys more opportunity and try new combinations." Steve continued, quote, essentially when asked about trying to balance between the Steph Curry motion offense, where Steph thrives, and therefore where the Warriors have thrived over the last decade plus, but also with maybe the style of offense that fits the rest of the roster while Steph sits. Because while Steph's on the floor and Steph's playing, the offense runs through him. And what's best for him, just by default, is what's best for the Warriors. But while Steph is out, whether it's him missing a game or a stretch of games like it's going to happen here, he's going to miss at least a couple of games, at least 3 games. Or if it's just while Steph is resting between the first and second quarters or whatever the case is, just because the Warriors are so used to running what they run with Steph does not mean that that's what they should run while Steph is on the bench, because maybe that's not what puts that group of players in the best position to succeed. So Steve was asked about finding that balance, and he said, quote, "We found that balance last year. The rhythm and flow of Steph and Draymond combined with the isolation of Jimmy, but," he continued, quote, "we have not found that balance this year." And yes, it's been very apparent that when Steph has missed time, the Warriors have really, really struggled offensively. Again, they're 1-3 without Steph this season, averaging about 107 points per game. That's 10 points fewer than they average when Steph Curry plays. I think that the Warriors need to really run their offense through Jimmy Butler. And that might be obvious, but we haven't really seen it enough to where I think it's a given, because I do think the Warriors, and when I say the Warriors, I think oftentimes this is Steve Kerr's mindset, because Steve Kerr was the one who came in and installed this motion offense, which, I mean, you don't win the 4 championships without it. It turned Steph Curry immediately into an MVP, and he won consecutive MVPs, including one, a unanimous MVP, in part because of the system that Steve Kerr implemented, which got the most out of Steph. Not to take anything away from Steph, because of course Steph is the reason why it works, but I think we can agree that this is a give and take, and what's best for Steph is this offense, which then in turn is also what's best for the Warriors. But I think we've seen at times a reluctance from Steve Kerr and the Warriors to transition to something entirely different offensively while Steph is out. And this, I think, is an opportunity to see, all right, just how does the Warriors' offense look different? How do they operate differently in this stretch of basketball without Steph Curry? With that, I want to get to my Take It to the Bank prediction, which is brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good. I think a big part of that is Jimmy Butler. And as a result, I'm going to go over 5.5 assists for Jimmy Butler tonight. In general, and this is the conversation we're just talking about, when Steph is out, in my opinion, and you can let me know, no time for any calls here on Warriors Wrap Up. Only have about 5, 6, 7 more minutes left with you. But if you want to get the number down or shoot me a text or join in on YouTube, you can at 888-957-9570, youtube.com/957 The Game. Everything on YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. The best way for the Warriors to consistently get points offensively when Steph is out, again, even if it's just the 6 minutes that Steph rests during a game in which he plays, or if it's during a stretch of games that he's missing like this, it's slowing it down isn't right, because as Steve Kerr mentioned, you want to get out and you want to run to get easy baskets, but when you can't get an easy bucket in transition and you're in the half-court offense, I think it is slowing it down, and it's being more deliberate, and it's throwing the ball into the extended post, left side for Jimmy Butler, and then not just have him back down, throw up a shot, but it's, gain an advantage versus a player that you have a size, speed, strength advantage over. Either back him down, spin baseline, face up, jab step, drive baseline, pump fake, get him in the air, drive past him, draw the defense, then kick, or get a guy in the air, draw the foul, get to the free throw line. I might be describing an offense that isn't as aesthetically pleasing. This is kind of the Houston Rockets style of offense from when they had James Harden. James Harden, of course, a more gifted scorer than Jimmy Butler. James Harden, a much better shooter, quicker off the dribble, at least now for Jimmy Butler. He doesn't have that kind of quickness that James Harden had like 8 years ago when he was at the peak of his powers in Houston. But you know what I mean? This is more of an isolation kind of style offensively for the Warriors, and that's one that I think rightly so, from the Warriors' perspective, hasn't been as effective than the one that the Warriors have. But the Warriors' style of offense is so incredibly unique because they have the most unique offensive weapon the game of basketball has ever seen in Steph Curry. But that's the whole point. With that unique weapon taken away from you, you just simply can't trot out the same kind of style of offense and expect it to work all right. It's just not going to work. So you have to make an adjustment, and this is the opportunity for the Warriors where they're kind of forced into making an adjustment. Steve Kerr's talked for about a week now, a little more than a week. It was after the Portland loss on Friday when the Warriors could not defend anybody and they could not get defensive rebounds, and he came out and said, frankly, I'm more worried about our offense. He's more worried about the offense. That was before Stephen Curry even got hurt. So if you just keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and the square peg is this Warriors roster without Steph, and the round hole is the motion offense, which works with Steph, you're going to continue to get bad results, and that square peg ain't going to go into that round hole. So you're going to have to try something new, and maybe it's not as fun to watch, maybe it's not the most, again, aesthetically pleasing basketball, but I think what's going to be most effective is just giving the ball to Jimmy over and over and over again and let him go to work. As a result, I think a lot of this offense is going to run through Jimmy Butler when he's on the floor. If he does not touch the ball on every possession, I think it's a mistake for the Warriors. As a result, I think the ball is going to be in his hands a lot. Plus, I also think when the Warriors get to these moments where they feel like they have not a must-win game, but a game they really, really would like to win, they tend to do that even more with Jimmy Butler anyway, even when Steph is playing, because Jimmy feels like a safe place for the basketball to be. You limit turnovers that way. You know that he's generally going to make the right decision. Maybe he'll miss a couple more layups than you would like him to, but he's going to get you in the best spot possible for the most part. As a result, I'm going over 5.5 assists for Jimmy Butler tonight. That is my Take It to the Bank prediction, brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good. Okay, a few more minutes left with you here. I did want to let you know that, again, Kevon Looney is a New Orleans Pelican. He was a Pelican a couple of weeks ago when the Warriors were in New Orleans. He was available but did not play in that game, interestingly enough. Steve Kerr kind of said he was shocked that he did not play. Interesting comments there. He is available to play today. We will see if he does play. We do not know for sure. He will be available. He is an option for interim head coach James Borrego. We'll see if that Borrego selects Looney to play or not. Regardless, though, Kevon Looney will be honored pregame. He was speaking pregame, and he expects a lot of love from the Warriors fans. Steve Kerr was asked what he expects, and he says, well, it's not what I expect, it's what I know. This Warrior crowd is going to shower Kevon Looney in praise, is essentially what Kevon Looney said. He also was asked how he wants to be remembered by Warrior fans, and he said something along the lines of, I want to be remembered as the tough guy, the guy that showed up with his hard hat every single game, played hard, and did whatever he was asked to do to the best of his ability. That's just classic Kevon Looney right there. He's going to be honored. I would imagine the Warriors are going to have a special video tribute to Kevon Looney. Plus, the first 10,000 fans in attendance at Chase Center tonight are going to get a Kevon Looney commemorative pin. If you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, I'm holding it up to the camera right now so you can see it. It is a Kevon Looney pin. It has his kind of like a comic version of his face in the pin, and then Loon with a bunch of O's and the number 5 along the outside for 10 years with the Golden State Warriors. A Kevon Looney commemorative pin to the first 10,000 fans in attendance here for Warriors versus Pelicans. All right, that'll just about do it for Warriors Live tonight. I will be back with Warriors wrap-up once this one is over. Right now, Tim Roy and Tom Tolbert are standing by. They've got you the rest of the way until tip-off, which is set for 5:30. A little after that, Tim and Tom have you covered on the network pregame portion here of pregame on 95.7. The game that's coming up in just a handful of minutes. This has been Warriors Live, presented by Xfinity, your home court advantage, brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that. No Steph Curry for the Warriors, but Jonathan Kuminga is back. Will he start? We shall see. The Warriors have not announced starters just yet. He has missed a lot of time. I would not be shocked if his minutes are just not quite as high as usual. We shall see, but it'll be good to see Kuminga back tonight for the Warriors. I'll be back. Mark Randy with you. I'll be back for Warriors wrap-up once this game is over. For now, though, Tim and Tom are next on 95.7 The Game.
Ready for your next adventure? Welcome to San Francisco International Airport, your getaway to the world. With over 130 nonstop destinations worldwide, SFO offers seamless travel experiences, stunning art installations, and